Hey everyone, I have an overview review video for you on That Time You Killed Me. Now this is a two-player game where you are time travelers trying to erase each other from history using your inventions to find and murder your opponent.
Video. Why can't I get that? No. I'm gonna redo that.
So before we start, my name is Krissy and this is my channel 2 Sheep 1 Wheat. If there is a board game out there that you would love to see me review, please let me know what that is down in the comments below. Like this video, and of course, if you have not already, please subscribe to the channel. So in That Time You Killed Me, you play over 3 eras: past, present, future. I think I did that backwards. Past, present, future. So this is what's called your timeline, and you're going to be traveling throughout your timeline trying to create new selves, so new copies of yourself, trying to make it harder for your enemy to find and kill you. So this game is a little small, so let's just go ahead and take a look at the board and check out what setup is. Now, like I was saying, we have our 3 eras. We have past, we have present, and we have future. You're going to be choosing which color you are, black or white. White always starts on the first spot of these boards, and black is always on the 16th spot. Now you're going to find out who the first player is, and that player is going to have their focus token on the past, and then the second player is going to have their focus token on the future. Now, one thing to know about this is anything that happens in the past will affect the future, or the present and the future. Going into the future is fine, but if you want to go to the past is going to create new selves, new copies of yourself. So there are extra copies that each player have. Your extra pieces just go in front of each player, but just for the video, I've placed them beside the boards. Now, depending on which era that you're playing in, this is going to be your starting era. That's where you're going to be playing your turn. After you're done playing your turn, you have to move your focus token to any of the other 2 eras. Now, your turn is still ongoing until you let go of your focus token. If you still have your finger on your focus token, you can move it back to the era that you were in and continue doing your turn. Whatever you need to make changes to, you can do so until you move to another era and let go of your focus token. So the first player starts off in the past. Now, during your turn, you can take 2 actions. Now, an action is moving. You can move up to 2 spaces in the era that you're in. You can time travel and go into another era. And if you wanted to move completely from past to future, that would be 2 actions. And then your turn is over. You would move your focus token to another era, and then it would be your opponent's turn. Now, when moving, you can move into another spot with another player, and that would simply just move them. However, if you are in front of a wall, these are walls all surrounding the era here. So if you moved into this location right here, you're pushing your opponent into the wall and they would die. You would collect it as a trophy. Now, it may happen that an opponent pushes you into yourself, and that would cause a paradox, and it would essentially kill both of the copies of yourself. And those would go over to your opponent's side as a reward. Now, what ends the game is if you are only in one era. Doesn't matter how many copies of yourself is in that era, but if you are only in one era, your opponent wins. Now, how that win is calculated is at the end of their turn, or even at the end of your turn, you're always checking for a win, not if you're dead. So say you did only end up yourself on your turn in one era, but so did your opponent because you killed them, then you would actually win the game instead of losing because you are also dead and only in one era. So at the end of anybody's turn, you're always only checking for a win. So that is how you win the game. Be in one era only and you have lost the game. So like I was saying, this is quite an easy game, so a very quick overview for all of you. This is just the base game. Now, before I get into my review, I just wanted to give a warning. I will be opening up some of the chapters and going into a little bit of detail about them. So that is your warning that there are some spoilers in this video. I will, again, before talking about them, before opening up the box, I will give another warning and let you know that this is the time to skip if you need to. So like I just said, this is kind of an easy game. To me, this is like a 3D chess almost, how you're maneuvering around the 3 boards, the different eras all in one timeline, creating new selves, trying to kill off your opponent and your enemy just to be the one there. And the base game to this is almost like a classic game. I'm not sure if I would ever get bored of this base game alone. Like, it is just so simple, but there's so much strategy to this game. It's always changing every game. So whether you're the first player or the last player, you're in different spots, different corners of each of the eras. So one, you're moving backwards, or the other one, you're moving forwards. It's always a different game every single time that we have played this game. And they're almost quick games, like 15 to 30 minutes, I think is what the box says. And I don't think we've ever gone over 30 minutes, maybe our first game. But really it takes between that amount of time to actually get a game in. So you can get a couple of games in a row. It seems so simple, but again, so much strategy. It's a really quiet game because you're just thinking about your next move, because anything that you do, so you move in the past, it doesn't move in the present or the future. The only thing that happens is that obviously when you start the game, you're in the past and it creates a copy for the present and a copy in the present or in the future. It creates a copy in the future. So that is how that would work. And anytime you move, nothing happens to any of the other eras. So the only time that it does is when you're going into the past, it's creating another copy of you. So you leave, but it's almost like you didn't leave. And I think the whole thing with the paradox, how you have to be careful not to put yourself in that situation. If your enemy comes close to you, and then they can basically kill off two of you at one go. So that's something to look out for. Just a lot of strategy, honestly, with this game. And the more that you play, the more situations you're almost put into, and you learn from it. But honestly, I love that you can play the base game by itself, or you can play with any of the chapters. This is your warning. There are spoilers ahead. I will start opening up some of those boxes. So skip ahead to another timestamp if you want to miss this completely. So there are 4 boxes within the box, and these are the chapters. Basically there's 1, 2, and 3 with extra pieces that you can play with, and in the 4th box is a bunch of envelopes. Now I haven't played with any of these envelopes, so I'll open this box. I haven't opened this box up. Nick has. I know that there are envelopes in here, and I think it's, so this one, open when you read the coda section in the rulebook. Okay, so there, I assume once you've hit some kind of achievement, then you can open up some of these. So there must be, I really don't know what's in here, some kind of achievement. So that's cool. I have no idea what this is, but this looks like it is it the same one? Yeah, so it looks like it's everything from the 3 other boxes. So that is what is in the 4th box. Now I'll open up some of the other boxes. I'm opening all of them up because they're pretty cute. So we'll start off with number 1. This is the green box with the trees and the moon. And in this box, you guessed it, are trees. And then all of them come with these cards here, and it tells you a little bit about it. So this one is growth. Now, basically what you're doing is placing some of these trees. There's little seeds that you can place in the past, and then the tree grows a little bit in the present, and then it gets to be a really big tree in the future. So as you're moving these trees, because these trees are planted, so wherever you move the seed, the tree in the next eras will also move with it. So with this one, you can actually knock down trees and crush your opponents, killing them and murdering them that way. So I really enjoyed these ones. I thought it was pretty neat how what you actually did in the past moved and affected the present and the future. So I really enjoyed this one. This was obviously the first one that we played because it is number 1, and you have to follow the rules when playing games. So obviously just a little bit of a different setup with this one. You're also placing the trees. Now you can't go into a spot with a tree because it's taking up a location, but you can move into a spot with a seed. So that was box number 1. Now we move on to box number 2. Box number 2 is, I think, the totems. I don't have this one open here, but so the totems get placed on the board as well. You have these yellow ones that get placed on the board, but then each person gets them in their own color too. White is over here. We'll just put that there. And then black goes with the black opponent. And then these ones you can place out on the board. So these ones start on number 7 on each era. And these ones can get moved. They can get pushed as well. And then you can propagate these ones. So same thing with the trees. If you're placing it in the past, then it pops up in the next eras. Now, something with this one too, if you're placing something in the present, it doesn't affect the past, it only affects the future. So instead of placing all 3 statues, you'd only place 2 statues. But then if you go back into the past and you place another statue, no other statues pop up because they're already there. So with these ones, you can push them, you can pull them, and then again, just like the trees, whenever you're doing anything with them in the past, then they also move in the present and the future. So that one was a neat one to play with as well, just because you start getting more of these ones. So it's not just like the trees. I think there's only 5 trees that can pop up, where this one, obviously, there is 9. So you get a little bit more in this second box here with the statues. So that was box number 2. Okay, so this one is called Memory. Obviously, we know that elephants have really good memories. Oh, I was hoping that I'd have the little cheat sheet already opened up. So, Memory, there are light elephants and there are dark elephants. So the light ones go on number 4 and the dark ones go on number 13. Now, something adorable with these elephants is that anybody can control them. And once you have controlled them, they retain that memory, so it's easier to control them next time because your opponent can take it over. So what I mean by that is that they have these cute little hats, adorable little hats in your colors, and they actually go on the elephant. So you can take an action by moving next to it and training it. So then training it, you take one of these cute little hats and then you just put it on its head. I wonder if I can put it sideways for you. You just put it on its head and now it is controlled by you. Now, one of these things, so with everything else, you have to be next to it, pulling it or pushing it. And that is how you can maneuver those ones. But these elephants, you can train them to just tell them what to do. So you can stick in the corner, doesn't matter where you are in the era, and you can move that elephant. Now, your opponent can come and train that elephant too, and then basically just the hats come off, but on all of the eras, because you no longer control that one in the past, so all of them come off. Now again, just like the other ones, if you do anything in the future, it only affects the future. If you do it in the past, it again only affects the future. Nothing goes back to the past unless you are in the past. So the hats do come off. You're trading them with your opponent all the time. Doesn't matter. You're continuously training and retraining the elephants. Now with these ones, if you move your elephant into a spot with an opponent, it automatically dies. Even if you miscalculated your move, telling your elephant to move over, or if you wanted to, because you forgot the rules, pushing your elephant, then you also die. So don't do that with these ones. And that was box number 3. So for anybody who is watching, it is okay to come back now. Or who wasn't watching, you can come back now because the spoilers are all over. That is what I had to say about it. If you ever get the game and you want to know a little bit more about it, definitely come back to this video and check out what you missed out on. And so anyways, that is basically how you play That Time You Killed Me, and that was the setup for it and a little bit of the spoilers for what's in those chapters that really definitely add to the game. So anyways, I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope to see you next time.